It's a day I'm wearing not just my normal orange. This is my creative orange today. The color of inspiration, creativity, which is part of the reason that so much of my stuff is orange, folks. And it's another Live with Lottie, another special setting up for my beautiful friends at APSS, the Asian Professional Speakers of Singapore, and to all of you Ladies Go Live buddies around the world. Because today I want to get creative with a wonderful woman, another fabulous speaker we had on Ladies Go Live Summit last year, who does something that I haven't seen anybody else do as successfully, as brilliantly, and as creatively as she does it. So welcome to the screen right now, the wonderful Kathy Nolan, who actually, Kathy, move to your left a little bit, the other way, the other left, that's perfect. Because I know that while I was chatting, you were actually starting doing what you do. But before we show people do that, tell us, who are you, Kathy Nolan, Kathy Nolan Art? What do you do? Why do you love what you do? And why do you do it live?
Oh, Lottie, thank you for having me. First of all, I love your energy and your vibe. You're so awesome. And you're Irish. That's why, like I am. So,
well, Scottish really originally. And Welsh and bit English and Italian, Swiss, and Celtic.
You're a mix of all that kind of stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Lottie. I love what you do and love live streaming, and I love being creative. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kathy Nolan, known as Kathy Nolan Art on Facebook and Instagram. And I've been drawing all my life since I was a baby. And being an extrovert artist, I love people. So I've been able to combine my skills throughout the years by talking to people and drawing them. And it's brought a lot of joy to many people. One of the things I love doing is just putting people at ease, getting to know who they are, and then just drawing their true essence of themselves. And it's led to a very interesting career for me because live streaming didn't come out until about 3 or 4 years ago. I started with Periscope. And with Periscope, I heard about that from Kim Garst, who's a wonderful social media, goddess. And I loved Periscope because it was instantaneous. And that was actually the first part of live streaming. And so I went to the Periscope Summit in New York City and met a ton of amazing people and just started drawing them for fun. And a funny story happened where I met Al Roker is a famous newscaster here in the States in New York City, and I drew his caricature hoping to give it to him. And I wasn't able to because the panel was closed. So I was like, how am I going to get Al Roker his caricature? And I met a wonderful man named Mario Armstrong, and he was able to give my caricature to Mr. Roker. And so to thank Mario, I said, can I just draw you? Like, that's the least I could do to thank you. And so he did this quick interview. I drew him, and he was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. One day I'm going to have my own show, and I want you to draw for my show. And guess what, Lottie? So 2 years later, he has his first pilot season show where I drew all of the guest caricatures and in real time the interviews going on with celebrities like Al Roker, Damon John, and then entrepreneurs. Well, the show won an Emmy, and that's a big deal. So because it was the first live stream show with a live studio audience in real time interacting with social media. So sorry, Kathy. This was basically you guys were being the groundbreakers with, as Roy Montero calls it, and April Roga with their net friending call it TV 2.0, because you were live on TV and live streaming. Exactly. Yes.
And you were doing what you do, which in a moment when you finish your story, I'll show people what you actually do and how you actually do it, because I love it.
Yeah, I'm still so give me some time. But yeah, no, and so,
I love it.
and it was under Mario's and Nicole's vision. So then what was interesting was, so, you know, I mean, that was just a breakthrough thing, being part of that pilot show. Yeah, exactly.
Woo-hoo.
And
we have an Emmy winner in the house, people. Emmy winner.
Woo. And so anyway, long story short, so that right there, I think, is why live streaming is finally now, like, this all started like in 2016, I believe, or 15. But now in 2018, live streaming is really becoming more mainstream. And so also for the national election, ABC News had a digital team, and they had hired me to draw first for the New York primaries. So I did pre-drew Bernie Sanders and politicians like Ted Cruz and John Kasich, and then Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I would just interview people and draw, like, those were pre-drawn.
Kathy, who was nicest and easiest to draw? Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
Hold on, I'll show you.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay, well, this was from the primary election. So,
wow.
Pizza.
I'm just going to put those full screen for you. 1 second, Kathy. Oh, wow.
And then this was Donald Trump. I made him look way too good, but, you know, I wanted to.
Yeah, he does a bit.
This is Ted Cruz with his boots.
Oh, wow.
And then Bernie was the most fun to draw with his hair being all crazy. And then Hillary. So who was the most, what was your question? And there's Hillary.
I said who was the easiest, and then who was the most fun for you to draw?
That's a good question. The easiest, I think, was Ted Cruz, because he's got a honker of a nose, and the cowboy boots, and like his eyes, his little beady eyes. And then the most difficult, honestly, I would say Hillary, because I wanted to get her features just right. And men, it's really funny. I find men easier to draw because their facial features are a little bit more defined. Women have softer features, so sometimes, depending on the person's face, it's one of those things where I just have to sometimes try a few times just to get it just right. And Hillary has a very...
Is there also the kind of almost the sense of women tend to, even though we shouldn't, ladies, please, women tend to be a little bit more judgmental about themselves, potentially about other women as well. So, and men, if you draw like a real caricature, they don't really care. Whereas I'd imagine some women can get a little bit upset, can they?
Well, I've been blessed that in almost 30 years I've been doing this. I only had one woman not like her caricature, and that was like 22 years ago. And it was because she had a lot of freckles. I draw what I see, you know, but
freckles are great. I'm hoping to come back from Asia with freckles all over the place. My husband loves them. I love them.
Yeah. Well, she had like real, like, you cannot miss these freckles, you know. And, you know, I'm pretty confident in what I do. So, but that's because I've been doing it since I was a baby. It's like second nature for me. I eat and breathe and live this stuff. So, but I understand.
Let's backtrack a little bit and find out, how did you get into your, like, really get into your art that led you to the caricature? Because I kind of get the story of how you ended up doing your caricaturing live, and we'll talk about helping people, giving, because I know you actually coach people on Kathy's website, folks. There's a lovely message on 10 creative and fun ways to do your live streaming on her kathynolan.com. Let me just get that up and show that on screen for everybody.
And that's just to give people ideas if they're stuck, like, what am I going to live stream about, or what am I going to talk about? And if you do download,
you help other creatives go live as well, don't you, Kathy?
Yes, I do.
So can we backtrack then onto the artist's story and how it was that caricaturing, because it's a quite an unusual thing. I've seen a lot of men caricaturists, but you're one of the first women actually that I've seen, Kathy, anywhere in the world.
Oh, thank you.
Who does it so brilliantly as well.
Well, I did grow up as a town boy, so I always knew how to play with the boys. But just kidding. You know, I was drawing all my life, being an extrovert, chatty Cathy. And actually, my career didn't really take off until like I was around 18 years old, when a good college friend of mine dared me to do a county fair. And I thought, oh, why not? So it was very serendipitous. Sometimes when you make a decision, the universe and the stars all align. Everything fell into place. And it was $100 to get into this county fair. And I would just hustle people to my booth. Let me draw you. Let me draw you. And if you don't like it, you don't have to pay for it. You know, because I wanted to just get people to come have a chat with me. And what's so funny is that people are so busy talking to me, they forget they're being drawn, which is kind of fun. And also what I love is when people are apprehensive to get drawn, I'm like, you know, I'm a lady too. I make all the girls look good. So just by doing that, it was a week-long county fair. And it felt like missionary work, just hearing people's stories and drawing them and their stories, and then just seeing the joy on their face afterwards. And apparently after the end of that week, I grossed $1,000. Now you have to remember, this was like 28 years ago. And I was a kid, I'm like, ooh, I better pay attention to this. And when
I think this could be useful.
Yeah. And one of the things though, I remember when I was 10 years old, I had this epiphany. I was at an amusement park, and my uncle had taken my siblings and I, and I just remember watching these men draw people. And I was so enamored. And at such a young age, I thought, I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to do that. I don't know why. It was just like this little epiphany I had at 10 years old. And then, you know, throughout those years from 10 to 18, developed the talent and the skill. My parents were always encouraging, and with my art. And then that just sort of led me, you know, in college, I drew all the time. I had a scholarship where I lived in France for a year, and I ended up drawing for the Rotary clubs overseas by telling my story. I always used my artwork to tell stories, and especially now when we're such a visual society, you know, and I just love, so that's kind of just how I got into this. And, but more importantly, I do feel my mission is to get to know people, know who they really are, and to draw them and the essence of who they are. Because, you know, there's so much crap on social media, negativity, and, you know, I understand that, you know, we live in a crazy world, but at the same time, if I can bring a little bit of joy to people through my art, you know, that's what I feel like my mission is. And now with live streaming becoming more mainstream, I do love helping artists, and I do coach artists how to do live streaming. I'm also going to start a 5-day storytelling challenge. So if you download the ebook for free, you'll get on my email list.
That's on your website, Cathy, yeah?
CathyNolan.com. And then when I will be announcing the storytelling challenge, because I also want to help people tell and share their stories. I've always been a storyteller. That's kind of what I got from my grandmother growing up. And when I lived in London, I did a lot of storytelling shows where I would draw live for the kids and tell stories around the home.
Talking of drawing live, Cathy, I'm just going to show people while Cathy has been chatting, if you've been seeing her looking away, folks, if you've been seeing her looking away, I'm going to bring it onto the broadcast. If it's got terrible feedback, I'll turn the sound off. I'll just let me know what you're hearing. So 3, 2, 1, the image is coming in. There we go. Look over there. Look, Cathy's actually drawing me. So can you believe that while she's been telling her story, folks, she has been able to, probably one of the few people I know who can successfully multitask and be speaking out loud and thinking while she's actually she says me bumping my camera away, while she's actually physically drawing. So I love what Cathy's doing there. I need to get the ginger in the hair a little bit more, Cathy.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. I always do multiple colors here. I hope your hair is, if you want it poofier, let me know.
Oh no, that's fine. No, because normally it would be flatter than this anyway. So it's fat. I always love it when you see things like this. So this is what I wanted to show you. If you are a creative person, whether you're a musician, whether you're an artist, we had Jackie M. Tang on the other day, and she was doing her cooking side of things. We've had Chocolate Johnny on, who says that he has,
I love Chocolate Johnny.
Fab, isn't he? He has like cameras all over the chocolate shop, and he shows people how he does things. Actually, I've got to go back and check who was the person. He gave us a giveaway of a box of chocolates to see who was the first person to get tweets out. So I've got to go back and check that and get.
Yeah, and his chocolates are amazing. I actually met Chocolate Johnny in the beginning of the Periscope days, and had a great time drawing him. And then he's apparently a Star Wars fan, so I sent his Star Wars drawing that I did for him.
Oh, that's lovely. And there's somebody else as well who said, I think that Kathy drew me back in the Periscope days. So, hey to Robert C. Stern, saying Kathy is great. She is. And hi, Robert. Thank you very much for jumping over here. Because if you're watching on any of the other pages, folks, whether it's Press Play Presentations or Ladies Go Live, this is cross-posted. And in the live streams now, and actually the Be-Livers group, because Kathy, you're a Be-Liver as well. In the Be-Livers group, when you cross-post, you can only see your comments shown and brought up on the show, like Robert did here, very kindly putting kathynolan.com for you there. I can only bring them on screen if you comment in my Lottie Hearn TV Facebook page. So come over there if you want me to pop your comments up on screen, and you can see what Kathy is up to. So, Kathy,
your eyes are
how long do these? I know you've just been I saw you start this at the beginning of the show, so that's less than like 15 minutes work that you've done here.
I do draw fast. I guess the big joke I had in high school. My mother had me do college courses as a young high school student, and I had this brilliant art teacher on the college level. And he once jokingly said, well, you got motors in your hands? I just draw fast. I don't know why. But my grandfather, my mother's father, he drew very, very fast. When I remember sitting on his lap. And are your eyes green, by the way, or are they blue?
Yeah, my eyes are greeny. They're kind of greeny, hazily kind of color. They're blue on my other cartoons, and I can't quite change them, but they are green.
Do you fab here, darling?
Anyway, I think I look green today because I'm wearing green.
So anyway, I just draw fast, and especially if you're drawing young children, like babies, I always give parents a break. It's a weird thing when you're an artist, because your hand-eye coordination actually improves as you get older. I don't know why. I don't know how that is, but I look at some of the drawings I've done years prior, and I'm like, ugh. And, if you look at certain famous cartoonists like Charles Schultz and Gary Trudeau of Doonesbury, like you look at their previous work and then you look at their work now, it improves. And why am I on this tangent? I can't remember. But anyway.
It's all about drawing fast and how your eye hand.
Yeah, drawing fast. Yeah. And I don't know, especially now with people's attention spans being so, somebody once told me, like, humans now have an attention span of a goldfish, which is like 8 seconds. Goldfish.
That's the stat that's been bandying around at nearly every presentation. It was the stat of 2017. It's like, if I hear that on a stage from a speaker one more time, it was one of those that was just thrown around. But yeah, it's true though. That's the whole point. That's why it comes out so much, because we can. But part of this, Kathy, this is where I always find, because people are still coming to me saying, but surely, Lottie, think about that 8 seconds, the editing. This is what we should be doing. We should be making videos with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bits. Whereas my style and the way where I'm training people, lifestyle, real life style presenting, what I'm saying, lifestyle presenting, is that we also, at the same time, when we relax and we sit in front of a television or sit in front of a computer, we're also quite happy to watch chat shows and shows where it doesn't have to go boom, 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 boom every 2 seconds. Because I actually find that distracting, because it kind of befuddles my brain. So yeah. How does that relate, Kathy, then, to what you know about creative brains and your work and your studies of how you train people?
Well, first, I believe we all have this gift of intuition. I think creative people have a bit more. I'm not saying people who aren't creative don't have intuition. Of course they do. But I feel like creatives are a little bit more in tap with it. Mm-hmm. And so one of the big things I believe in is knowing who you are and valuing that, but also knowing your worth as well as your life experience is something that people could learn from. And having the faith that the people who need to hear your stories or the people who need you and your service and your work will be drawn to you energetically. You can call it God, universe, whatever. I do believe that people come into your life, whether it's an ideal client or a customer or somebody you might need to learn from, like a teacher, live streamer, or entrepreneur, mentor. I do believe you'll be brought the right people for whatever lesson you have to learn. And so in terms of teaching and staying creative, I don't worry about, I do my work and I draw, and if people want to stay and watch it all, that's great. If people only have a few seconds, that's great too. It's just part of the process. And I really wouldn't worry about, oh my gosh, there's so much out there. There's so much. It's true. Like now in the live streaming world, there's a lot. Like I remember some people who didn't even do Periscope in the beginning of days, and they're killing it, with live stream. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting, because they just got on, even though some of us have been live streaming for quite a while. But that's okay. They're them. You have to be you. And by being you, you're going to attract the right people to learn whatever you have to teach them. So where does creativity come in with that? Being creative is like just how you share your story. How do you share who you are? How do you share when you are in that elevator and you see that CEO? How do you do your pitch? Your 11 to 2 minute pitch. So I hope that answered your question, Lottie. Just be you and have faith that, by being you, you're going to attract the right people who need you. Don't kid yourself. People are going to need you and your services. And if you're not sure of what your strengths are, ask a few colleagues, ask a few friends, look at your past work experience and be like, well, what were the top 5 things I'm really good at? Whether it's organizing or live streaming, or maybe you're shy in front of the camera, but you're a great script writer. So like I said, that's just where I believe there's something for everybody, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with that. And what I was thinking, because there were some lovely sound bites that I was hearing in there. They're going, oh, that'll be great to add to the montage to show Kathy off on stage in Singapore. But Kathy, bearing in mind that you are a speaker as well yourself, and you do train other creatives how to bring this creativity, this style, the kind of, whether they're artists or whatever it is that they're doing, you help other people to bring this to the forefront. So yes. What would be some of your top tips for creative speakers who are doing not necessarily what you do, but something similar?
In terms of speaking in front of live audiences?
Well, no, actually more of they might be good at speaking in front of live audiences, but what do they need to bring in to start, or to, if they are live streaming or if they are going live already, how they can grow live? Like, what are some of the tools that you've brought in? Because people can see you've got more than one camera here. So just kind of give us the top few tips that you would say to a creative speaker who's wanting to go live or grow live today.
I would suggest, first of all, pick creative topics to talk about. People love to know, what do you do? Show them behind the scenes. Show them your studio. Show them your thinking process. This is how I come up with my strategies, or this is the process I use. Show the process of your creative mind, because it will help others get ideas as well for their creativity. Don't be afraid to do a do-how. This is how you do like a live stream. This is how I do a caricature. This is how I sew cute pieces of this is how I do my hand lettering. People love
put on buttons, make buttons. Actually, Kathy, there was a lovely one, and this is how I do my art, as Kathy has got right here as well.
Yeah,
I'll just put the art on screen there as well again, Kathy.
And then also, just show up every day, even if it's just 2 minutes of your time to say hello to your fan base. If you're consistent, persistent, that really helps. I struggle with being consistent, persistent, but I'm changing that. So, but it's, it can be a struggle. Everyday life gets in the way sometimes, but being consistent and persistent, also joining other groups, learning from people, supporting other people, that's a great way to bring out your name and who you are, and help people. Give them comments, give them suggestions, offer like, hey, I've got a few tips that might help your business. And I do think that'll come back twofold for you. Also, I love my Archon mount products. Archon mounts are like right now with my well, it's hard to see, but basically how you saw me draw Lottie is from here. If you can see that.
Let me I'm just going to get you solo on the screen here again, Kathy, so you can show them. Okay.
So this is my Archon mount, which holds my phone, and it's a great stand. They also have these mini DV lights, which I love for your cell phone. They also have iPad holders, so you could put your iPad in here. They do great mounts, and as a creative, you definitely want to get some of those products, and you can get 20% off using the code ARTIST. So go to archon.com and look ARKON.com. And archon.com. Aaron Roth is the executive of the company, and he's excellent. He live streams all the time. I've been in videos, great guy, and they have great products. I even love my car mount. Like, the car mount rocks. Like when you're driving and you need to know where to go and you don't know where to go. Great products. So definitely
your code for a discount with them is
ARTIST.
Doesn't matter whether it's capital letters or small letters.
No.
Okay. Well, there you go, folks. Not only have you seen Kathy do a live drawing, you're also getting a 20% discount code for her for any Archon mounts. When we finish the show, I'll go into the different places that the show is going live, and I'll put the links here and everything for you there too. So do go in and connect, and let Aaron know that Kathy sent you to her, please, to him, sorry, please. So Kathy, just before we wrap up the show, because I know you've got lots of things you need to do, first thing I need to say to you, Kathy, is you saw the replay of when I had the lovely Tony J. Salimi on the show the other day, and Tony said if somebody who has connections in New York City, somebody who is a live streamer, and he said after the show, he said to me, Lottie, I want somebody that I know, who's got the connections, who has the heart, that we can connect properly. And I know exactly, as soon as our lovely co-friend, virtual friend, Tina K. Valance said, of course, Lottie, it's Kathy. And you just came back to me straight away. And I sent that on to Tony, and he's just said, here's the email, here's the phone number. Please tell her to get in touch, because I know you guys are going to have so much fun, because Tony has invited Kathy to go with him to the New York Indie Film Festival and be his guest at the private press release on Sunday the 6th. That's this coming Sunday. So I think he might even be in New York already, Kathy. I'm not quite sure. And Kathy, shh, don't tell Tony, but what did you say you were going to do for him? I'm saying to everybody, don't tell Tony. Oh, Kathy, you've frozen on your main camera there. Look, see, there we go. That was the universe saying, no, don't tell Tony. Don't let Kathy tell Tony. I'm just going to take you out of the show, Kathy, if you want to come back in, if you can hear me on the phone. So while Kathy's coming back in and restarting herself, hopefully she can still get back in. Kathy, you're going to have to leave, but I can see, oh, the picture's gone. Maybe you'll have to turn your phone around and actually use your phone, Kathy. But if we can get Kathy back, but what she said she was going to do, she's going to do a little something for Tony to take along to the press launch for him. And Tony said that Kathy will be on his lives. He'd like Kathy to do a live with him. And so it's a lovely connection there, all in New York City this weekend. So yeah, Kathy, use your mobile. Just use your headphones maybe on your mobile. Yay, there's Kathy back again. We've got no sound on you. Oh, no, hold on. I need to turn your sound on. Hello, Kathy. Are you there?
Yes, I'm so sorry, everybody. My laptop died, and I didn't have time to, plug it. That's part of live streaming. You always got to make sure your stuff is fully charged.
And the tech happens. But, Kathy, I don't know whether you heard that. I was just saying, it was just as I was going to be very sneaky and cheeky and go, shh, don't tell Tony Salimi. But, Kathy, you've got a lovely surprise for him. And then you froze. So to me, that's the universe saying, no, don't at all say what it is. Just you turn up and you do with Tony what you told me you were going to do as a surprise for him. So that'll be really nice.
Yes, and I will be live streaming that from my Facebook Live, Kathy Nolan Art. So make sure you like my page and check it out, and I will be on there.
Let me just put that up here. It's all everything that you have, Kathy, whether it's your Instagram, whether it's your Twitter, is at Kathy Nolan Art.
Yes.
And Kathy Nolan Art you can find on Facebook as well. And then for anybody who is in the business side, because Kathy, you also do these. You go into businesses and do these for CEOs and at business conferences and everything as well, don't you?
Yes, I'm actually doing graphic facilitation for WeWork tonight in New York City near Wall Street. They're doing a She Leads program. So if anybody's in the New York City area who is a WeWork member, make sure you let me know.
Hashtag WeWork.
Yes. And
okay, there we go.
5 to 7, it's a happy hour where we're talking about ideas and brain dumping for content ideas for women entrepreneurs. And so I will be doing some doodles for that, which is exciting. And yeah, so I do work for businesses as well, where I do graphic facilitation also, drawing out their conferences and stuff.
Right. So Kathy, just before we finish up, then I've got your sound bite from earlier for the speakers in Singapore. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put you on screen, and you can do a woohoo shout out to the speakers of Singapore. Big wave for me.
Okay, sure. Woo! You're going to have an awesome speaker there. Woo! Singapore.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, and I love my Lottie cartoon. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much for doing that during the show. And I'll find a way to get it over here in Ireland. Get it picked up for you or something.
Definitely.
Looked after.
Definitely. And for anybody who needs creative inspiration or ideas, you can always email me at Kathy@kathynolan.com. More than happy to help or give suggestions and advice. And, again, download your free 10 live stream content creative ideas at kathynolan.com. It's a free ebook. So if that gets the wheels turning for you, and if you're stuck about what should I live stream about, that'll help you all.
Brilliant, thank you. And Kathy, that's the little ebook that you said that when I create the hot live stream list, the hot live list, I can put the link to that ebook, and then also we can do that and put that in the Ladies Go Live vault as well,
yes,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the one.
Absolutely.
Super, that's great. And then last thing, Kathy, because I forgot to ask you before, your live shows, when is your art show on? What time of day, what time of week?
Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. East Coast time. I start next week. And so
that's on Facebook, yeah?
Yep, on Facebook, Kathy Nolan Art. It's going to be interviewing women entrepreneurs and hearing all about their businesses and helping others, get educated about entrepreneurial tips and stuff.
And that's all through live streaming, but getting creative within that.
Yes.
And sorry, Wednesday, what time on Wednesdays EST?
11.
11 a.m. EST, which that is plus 5 hours. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 p.m. here in Ireland and the UK, 5 p.m. in Europe, and you can work out the rest wherever else you are in the world. So do go, please, and like Kathy Nolan Art at Kathy's Facebook page. Connect with her on all the different pages, her website and her Twitter, her Instagram. Great write-up about Kathy in LinkedIn as well there too. So Kathy, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lottie. It was wonderful seeing you.
Oh, no, it's lovely, really, really lovely to catch up with you. So you stay in the green room because I've got to connect you to Tony now and have a beautiful time with him. Please, will you give Tony a big hug from me?
Will, definitely.
Because he's such a sweetheart. I know you guys. There's a communal soul helping the world between the two of you, and his mission to help 1 billion people around the world. He's 5 million people in, and now meeting you, he's another person in, and I know that you will spread the joy with your live community as well. So thank you for doing that, Kathy. Really appreciate it. And for everybody else, next show, I am actually going to be having another little impromptu show. Shout outs, Speakers of Singapore, Professional Speaking Association, the Asian Professional Speakers, for the convention, 11th and 12th of May. I heard today it is sold out. There is a pre-convention show, little mini get-together on the 10th, if you're coming to the convention. But we've got well over 200 speakers from something like 25 different countries. And apparently, for a global convention of professional speakers, there have never been more speakers coming from so many countries anywhere in the world. Not the National Speakers Association, not the Professional Speakers Association, whether that be in Europe's versions, in South Africa, in Australia. They just had the Global Speakers Federation in New Zealand recently, and they've got more speakers in Singapore because it's all growing. And this Go live to grow live and thrive is my topic. So shout out to you guys. Can't wait to be there. And I will see you live with Lottie. And tomorrow, 7 o'clock GMT, I've got another creative for you. But she's in the world of music. And you'll hear her story of how she created a global Vida crew with thousands of musicians connecting around the world to do full day, almost like the Perry Girls on Periscope. Joanne Fan passed the cast. Claudia Santiago created Vida.
I love Claudia.
She's fab, isn't she, Kathy? She's absolutely amazing.
A beautiful soul.
She is another beautiful soul, just like you, Kathy. So on that long close, folks, I'm going to go and chat with Kathy now, and I will see you tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. GMT. Work it out wherever else you are in the world. And thanks to Kathy again for being live with Lottie. See you, Kathy.
Thank you, Lottie. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a great one, folks.